Hey guys, I'm here to make a quick PI tutorial on how to harvest livestock. I'm doing this because Giles currently holds my family hostage and he said he will send them back to me piece by piece until this is done. So under great duress, I will now begin the PI livestock tutorial. Yay! I'm at Planet 5, 9CK. It's good for livestock because it has an abundance of the two raw materials we need, being complex organisms and carbon compounds. Now, the first thing you want to do, obviously, is decide where you actually want to put your command center. So this is what you'll see when you first load it up. You want to take this slider all the way over to the right, and then you want to drag this slider down until you start seeing white spots appear. So actually, sorry, we need to start with the least abundant. Always start with the least abundant raw material. So we're not seeing anything yet, so we slide it down, down. We're starting to get some spots. Looking for white patches. So looks like our one little white patch up there is the best. So now we know this is a good spot for complex organisms. The same thing with carbon compounds. And you'll see at the same refine, it's the same scan level, there's a lot more, because there are more carbon compounds around on this planet. So you want to find somewhere where the white patches meet up. So you got a patch down here, complex organisms, you got a patch up here of carbon compounds. So you want to put your base in the middle, which I've already done. So you'll need to, I believe, warp to the planet with a command center in your cargo hold. You will get an option in build to place a command center itself. You want to do that, and then you want to click on it and upgrade as far as you can. I've got level 4 skills, so I can upgrade it to level 4. You want to hit the upgrade button, and then you want to hit the submit button. That'll actually apply the changes. None of the changes you ever make are actually applied until you hit submit. So don't you ever, build your entire thing and forget to hit this button, because you will go out and kill somebody. Once you have your command center down, you could warp your ship off. Right now I'm just sitting outside the Astro House, because docking takes effort and time. And then you can manage everything remotely from that point. So, let's go ahead and make us some livestock. So, the first thing I'm going to do is put a storage facility directly below my command center. I'm going to put a spaceport directly below that. When I build my planets, I like to do all the buildings first, and then start doing the links and everything at the end. So that's the way I'll be doing it for this video. So that's our storage silo for the end material. And then obviously we're going to feed it into the starport. So around this we need to build our factories. I believe it's basics to get P2s. Actually, I think no, it's advanced. So we want advanced closest to the silos. So we want to put one advanced there, and we want to put one advanced here. Come on. One advanced there. And then we need 2 basics per advanced, so we will put one basic there, and the other basic. Oh, this isn't going to be symmetrical. Oh, I'll do it this way. One there. And so we'll do the same thing on this side. One basic. And another basic. And now we need silos for our raw materials. We are going to be gathering 2 different kinds. So I'm going to need 2 silos. So you can already get the gist of how this is going to work. So we're going to have a raw material enter this silo. And then it's going to be processed by these 2. And then it's going to feed the advanced, and then the other raw material is going to go in here, and it's going to process these 2, and it's going to feed the other advanced. So now we need our extractor control units. Now you want these to be as close as you can manage to your silos, but you also want the black sphere, which is the range of the heads, to be well within the white zones, because those do roam around a little bit. So I'll just go ahead and put one out there, and I'll go ahead and put the other. We want to have a look at our complex. So that's there, so we'll put this one down here. Right. Go ahead and submit that so we don't lose it. Now we need to route them. Easiest way to do that is hold Control, left click, then let go of Control, and click on Make Structure. So we just want to literally create a route between everything, like so. Whoops. It's really hard to talk and hit Control and Okay, so that's the least number of routes we need. We don't need to do anything fancy with it or upgrade the routes, because the volumes we're talking about are too insignificant in this setup. So that should be absolutely fine. So now we have our... How much power do we have left to play with? So you can see we've used up not much of our CPU, but most of our power, and we're going to need to use the remaining power to get our extractor heads. Now this is a little bit fiddly. We need to... What's this one? This one is carbon compounds, isn't it? Nope, this one is complex organisms. So, first thing we do is just split the extractor heads we have. So what do we got there? We could probably do 3. I'd say we can get away with 4 heads per extractor. So don't worry about setting it up yet. Just install the program. And then with this one is carbon compounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we can have a total of 7 heads. This is okay because if we have 4 on the one with the least yield and then 3 on the one with the most yield, it should even out pretty well. So now we actually need to set them up properly. First thing you do is sort the extraction area size. You'll see at the moment the cycle lasts 1 hour. It gives you high yield, but you don't want to be doing this every hour. So what I usually do, stop the program. So I like to set it for 24 hours. Come on. Obviously you could set it to something a bit longer if you really like. So then we drag our heads into the white. Make sure there is no overlap. This here, big problem. You'll just end up wasting most of your gathered materials. So just have them nice and clustered around the white. That'll do. So per hour we are extracting 19,000 units. I believe we need 16,000 to farm each raw material factory, which means we will have a surplus of about 3,000 units, which is why we have our silo. And this means that as this fills up, we can have longer and longer periods where we forget or can't be bothered to manage our PI. So we'll just quickly set up the other extractor first before we continue. So same thing. What was this guy? This was carbon compounds. Extraction area to about... Yeah. To 1 day. Let's go ahead and narrow this a bit. Okay, so we'll just go head up towards this one, I reckon. So 1, 2, 3. And so even though we have less extractor heads, we are yielding 18,000 units, so we're still going to be building a surplus of the compounds as well. So now that's done. Let's go ahead and submit that so it starts running. Okay, now we need to set up our routes. So, this is product, isn't it? This is producing complex organisms. So we need to create a route to the silo. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. So products, carbon compounds, create route for the silo. Submit that. Now we need to... Now we have routes? Yes. So now we have incoming complex organisms. We will need to... Oh, is it going to let me do that without a blueprint? No. So I need to do the blueprints first. So we are turning... what are we turning it into? So biofuels is carbon compounds, that's the other one. So we want to make proteins out of our complex organisms. We'll go ahead and put that in. And then we'll do the same thing with the basic below that. Proteins, complex organisms, done. So let's go ahead and submit that. So now we can route out our complex organisms. That one, and then we can route out. So you always just use the same incoming. It'll split this for you, which is fine. Create route. And so now if we have a look at these, we should have incoming complex organisms and incoming complex organisms. Now the reason this said transitioning, get out of the way, is because of the way our routes are set up. Do you fuck off so we can actually see? So it's going from the extractor into the silo, and then the organisms are actually going into this one and passing through. Again, you can overload a chain this way, but if you have a look, we're currently using 4.8% of the root's capacity. So that really isn't an issue for this kind of setup. Anyways, so now we have that going. We are going to route our products. So our proteins need somewhere to go. We're going to put them in the silo near our starport first. Now these are not going to build a surplus because they are going to output 20 units of proteins per cycle. However, this will consume 20 units per cycle. The only reason I am putting it to the silo is to stop any sort of backlog fuckery, so it's not actually going to take up our end storage space, which is why we do not need a dedicated silo for the proteins and whatever else we're making on this side. So let's just go ahead and start building our livestock in the advanced facilities. So the input is proteins and biofuels. We'll go ahead and install that. We'll do that on this side as well. Livestock install. Okay. And then let's go ahead and configure the other side. So what? So this side needs to make biofuels. And go ahead and spin that. So same dealio. We've got our actually we didn't even do that, did we? So we need to route our carbon compounds. Thought they are routed. Never mind. Then we need to route those to that factory. And we need to route. Always make sure you get the incoming as well, don't misclick, it'll make you upset. You'll be wondering why nothing's happening. So that's going on, and then we'll do the same thing over here, where the product is routed to the silo. This one where the product is routed to the silo. Let's go ahead and submit that. Okay, so now we have our P1s going into the silo, and we need to feed these back into the advanced factories to make P2s. So, where one biofuel goes to the left, and one biofuel goes to the right. And so we do the same for proteins. One goes to the left, and one goes to the right. Submit that. So now if we have a look, we should have incoming biofuels, incoming proteins. So finally we have our output of livestock. And so these we route to the silo. Products, livestock, create route to the silo. And submit that. And we're done. This silo here will now eventually fill up with our livestock. As you can see, we have 12,000 M3 worth of capacity in the silo. This is why I use a silo instead of a starport. Because, excuse me, it gives you longer time to actually come back and mess with this. You already get 10,000 storage in your launchpad, so you could expedited transfer. I don't recall how to do that, so whatever. But you can do an expedited transfer from the silo into the starport to give you a bit more room. And obviously, when you do want to pull your materials off-world, you will need to put them into the starport first. But that is not an issue. Actually, I believe we don't have any materials. I think once you actually click on the product itself, you can do an expedited transfer, but we don't actually have anything at the moment. Yeah, and that's that. We now have a planet doing livestock, so now I can, go back to see my loved ones with hopefully all their bits attached, Giles. I hope this didn't take too long. Cool. I might do another one for the fucking other thing he wants, the poo fertilizer, but it's the same principle, so I hope that you guys get it. Sorry for rambling, and ta-ta.